Lynne joining us now after practice. Lynne, thank you for doing this. Congratulations on turning the Sparks around. You guys are playing really well, and we really appreciate you coming on. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm always happy to come on. Our schedule, you know how it is. NBA is the same way. It's just so crazy.
It's nuts.
Finding a day is tough, but it's awesome to be on with you guys.
Okay, so I've always wondered, because I haven't met you until now, I'm wondering, you were a hugely successful college coach. Everywhere you went, you won. You won at Chico State, you won at Pacific, you won at Utah. The Sparks call, I'm sure that wasn't an easy decision because I think they hired you in November, which is right before the college season starts, but you decided to take on the challenge. What was appealing to you about that? Why you were obviously kind of conquering college basketball. Why did you take advantage of this opportunity to jump to the pros?
Yeah, I think because I'm just a competitive person, and a lot of people kind of wondered why I was doing it. I kind of had job security forever at university, and it was great. And I loved it there. It wasn't like I was looking to leave, but they called, and just kind of at every turn, it just felt right. And the chance to kind of roll the dice and coach at the highest level and coach the best players in the world. And as a competitor, it doesn't get any better than that.
Coach.
So, and I feel too that the Sparks is a gold mine, and we've just got to get it back to where it belongs.
Coach, your team is 11-4 in the last 15 games. Having Cameron Brink back obviously helps that playoff push. What does she provide that you guys have been missing for the last month or two?
Well, some defense, man. She can play some defense. She's just long, and you guys know coming back from an ACL is tough. It's tough physically, but it's tougher mentally. You're out for just so long, and so even today in practice, I thought that was her best practice. Like she's continuing to get better throughout the season, which is hard to do, but it's hard for anybody to do. And she just brings another. To bring Cameron Brink, number 2 pick off the bench, is a luxury. And she's, I think at this point she's kind of hitting her stride with us, and it's perfect timing as we do try to make that playoff push.
We're talking to Lynne Roberts, the head coach of the Sparks, who have played really well lately. We had Kelsey Plum in the show, and I just loved talking to her. I loved her optimism. I loved her swagger. And then I started watching her play. And so this is kind of a philosophical question for you. I watch, obviously, a lot of NBA. I don't see a weakness in her. I think she can drive the basket. She's a great passer. She can shoot outside. When you've got a player like that, an elite player like that, how do you coach her? Obviously you're a coach, so you think everybody can get better. How do you coach a player like that doesn't appear, at least to the outside observer, that she has a lot of weaknesses?
Well, I think it's finding the buttons and knowing how to push them and when to push them. She is unbelievably competitive. So am I. And I think challenging her drive and, just the pursuit of being a little bit better. She garners so much attention from the other team. And so learning for her, this is a new experience with her or for her with us. When she was in Vegas, she was the second or third option with Asia Wilson there. So now she's the head of the snake, and that's a learning curve. That's a process. And so just challenging her in those ways, less the, technicalities of her game and more about the mental side of how to be an elite scorer, but also lead the team, whether that, creating shots for yourself or sometimes creating shots for other people, holding people accountable, being a voice in the locker room. Her work ethic's unmatched, but challenge her, find the right buttons and push them.
Now, Coach, completely off topic here. I've done a little research, and I was pretty athletic in high school. I played 3 sports, but how the hell do you get 12 varsity letters?
I noticed this.
This is ridiculous. This has to be. You have to have a statue out front of your high school, I'm guessing.
How did you get?
No, but
12?
You want to hear something great?
Yeah.
I'm in the High School Hall of Fame, and I went back. And they spelled my name wrong.
Of course they did.
Big time I am.
So they didn't put an E on the end?
Exactly. Yeah. So obviously my legacy looms large there. They don't even spell my name right.
So I'm guessing, Lynne, by the way, Lynne was a baller when she was younger before she became a coach. That's what we're talking about. And you went to high school in Reading, and you lit up the scoreboard. So I'm guessing 4 of those letters were in basketball. Where'd you get the other 8?
Well, I kind of bounced around. I did volleyball. I did softball. I did tennis one year. I did soccer.
Wow.
Yeah. I just, my parents said, get out of the house, go do something. So I just went out and played whatever sport I could play.
Well, if they had a Superstars competition back when you were in high school, I would have bet on you. Good for you. We're talking to Lynne Roberts, the head coach of the Sparks. Lynne, when I watch your team play, I know that Kelsey obviously is an all-star, and Cameron second pick in the draft, and she looks like a model, so they garner a lot of attention. But my sense is, watching your team, that you're very happy to have De'Erica Hamby and Rickea Jackson, because those are the types of players that I think a coach would want. That at least from the outside looking in, it appears to me that they do kind of whatever you need to win. Am I right?
Yeah, oh, yeah, for sure. And, we've got a good young roster. But, De'Erica Hamby's an all-star, too. Our record before, when they started voting, we hadn't gotten it rolling yet. So she didn't make it, but she's top 5 in efficiency and all the things, averaging close to 20. Yeah, those guys are studs. They are. And I think what we try to play is up-tempo. I think we're number 1 in scoring in the league and number 2 in offensive rating. And we're number 1 and 2 in every offensive category in the league. And, those two are a huge reason for that. I think when Jackson scores 20 or more, I think we're 9-0 or 10-0 or something like that. So, yeah, so we've got some firepower offensively, and it's a process to get this thing pointed in the right direction, but I like where we are right now.
Well, those are the star players, but I want to talk about a new player that you've just recently signed, and I'm sure you're familiar with her, Alyssa Pili, who was an absolute savage at Utah. Just
when Lynne was there.
An absolute beast. You just signed her for the rest of the remaining of the season after her 7-day. What did you see out of her that was, shored up that deal to get her on the team for the rest of the year?
Well, I think she's a WNBA player, and it's hard. We got her, maybe three and a half weeks ago. It's hard to integrate somebody at that point in the season, but we're still looking for opportunities. But she is just, and I know you were at USC, I think, and doing radio with covering them, and she's a load. I mean, she is just an absolute load. And talk about a high school athlete. I think she was in Alaska the state player of the year 3 times in a row. She played football in high school, wrestling.
That's that Polynesian blood.
Yeah, man, she is a powerhouse. So I know how to use her. I used her in college. She won us a lot of games, and we just kind of got to find the time to integrate her into what we're doing.
Lynne Roberts is our guest. She's the head coach of the Sparks, and the Sparks have been rolling. Lynne, as you want to kind of keep this going and make this playoff push, what do you hear yourself saying to your team more than anything else? What's your number one point of emphasis at this point of the season when you talk to the women?
I think it's toughness. I mean, that's how you win down the stretch. Everybody's banged up. Everybody's tired. You're playing teams for the 4th time. Like, it's a mental grind. It's a physical grind. And, I've been telling them, like, when you get it gets the hardest when you're really close. And that's what separates people from actually reaching their goals or not. Because when you're really close, it gets really, really hard. And so that's where I think we're at. We're right on the brink of it. And that's when you got to just be tough. And I don't mean just the ability to take a charge, although that would be great too. It's the ability to keep getting up and attacking the game plan and watching your film and taking care of your body and just have that toughness mindset of, next game, next play, not be denied on what you're trying to do.
All right, last thing for you. Your game the other night was fantastic. Kelsey obviously hit the game winner with the game on the line, but Paige Beckers went nuts.
She's decent.
Yeah,
she's decent.
So I couldn't decide, Lynne, whether or not, you can tell when a player, especially a young player like a rookie, comes into the league, that if they're just a hot player or a really good player. She obviously had a great college career, but it seemed like, obviously her shot was on. I think she went 17 of 21. But what impressed you the most about trying to you won the game, which is the good news, but trying to slow her down was hard. What impressed you the most about her, watching her play in person like that?
Yeah, man, she's good. And I think the best way to describe her is, she's more athletic than, people think. She can really elevate on her shot and all those things, but she's just slippery. Like she can get through things. Like Gino Ariema, the famed coach at UConn, used to say she's like water, where she just figures out ways to get through cracks. And she was on one.
Right.
Yes, we did not do a great job defensively. Maybe made some mistakes, but she was in the flow state, man, and there was not much we could do. Luckily, we scored the last basket.
Yeah, well, that's the best part about that story is anytime, I mean, you can use it as a learning experience and show that film to your team, but you won the game, which is obviously the most important thing. And
Amen.
And Lynne, I can't tell you how fun your team is to watch. I love the way they
thank you.
I love the way they compete. I can tell that they say that teams take on the personality of their coach, and you mentioned your competitiveness. Your team gets into it. And I encourage people who have not watched the Sparks play this year, maybe saw them last season when they really, really struggled. This is not that. This is a completely different team with a completely different mindset. And I encourage people to go out to your games, and if they can't, watch them on TV. And most of all, Lynne, I want to thank you for coming on. I know we've been trying to make this happen for a while. So thanks for taking a few minutes, and good luck on this playoff run, man. We're behind you, and we hope you win all the way out. Thanks again for doing this.
All right. I appreciate you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
There is Lynne Roberts, the